back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. He'd rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in his ear. He'd rather eat the rotten asshole of a roadkill skunk and down it with beer. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angry Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd. He's the angry video game nerd.
In all the annals of history, no game has ever slurped so much shit as Hydlide. Well, actually, no, not really, because compared to the shit I play, it's pretty much intermediate diarrhea. But anyway, years ago, I played the first Hydlide. Since then, I've gotten a lot of requests to review the other Hydlide games. The other Hydlide games?
One of my most hated, traumatic childhood experiences has a sequel. And this is technically Hydlide 3. Hydlide 2 only came out in Japan for computers in the MSX.
Because the first one was so good, you gotta have more. You know, sequels to games that already suck Donkey Kong Dong, that I can't stand. I can't stand the sound of it. Hydlide. Hydlide. Guess we just gotta get it all out.
Just show the game.
So, without further ado, let's start with Super Hydlide. Let's pop this fucker in and get this over with. The game starts up with a collection of the most shrill noises the Genesis could possibly produce. This is the closest you could get to 16-bit nails on a chalkboard, and it's playing over one of the worst logos ever designed by humans. If you didn't already know this is a Hydlide review, you'd have no idea what that says.
The intro sequence starts by saying the young hero must awaken as dark secrets have returned to hunt the land. Evil monsters, kill them, got it.
So right off the bat, it's an all-out assault of the senses on two fronts. And look at that cutscene. It looks like a 2-year-old discovered Microsoft Paint.
Okay, well, at least the menu screen allows me to make my save file and... oh! There's character creation? With different classes? And randomized stats? That's actually kinda neat.
One thing I do like about the game is you can put up to 8 letters for your name, so I can write pretty much any curse word I like in here, like fucker or dick-faced dildo. Nah, it doesn't fit. But anyway, I'm gonna go with the classic standby. Ass! And with that, we have the last nice thing I will ever say about this game.
Naturally, I go with the Thief class. Now, here's something I don't get. Compared to everything else, the Thief class has higher hit points, a greater amount of strength, and low intelligence. You know, what most people would call a warrior. This is the opening screen. Take a guess at which character I am. If you guessed the armored, stoic knight standing proudly here, you're wrong. I'm this dude who looks like every other guy in this city.
Dear Lord, look at this. Everything looks like pixelated ass splatter. The people are nothing but a diuretic debacle moving around at 1 frame a second. I can't even tell which one I am. I mean, for the love of sweet shit-take mushrooms, and yes, like the annals of history, I know what it is. It's shit-take, but it's spelled shit-take! This game looks like the glitch gremlin had a freaky fuck fest all over it, and this isn't even a glitch! It's just how the game looks! This game looks like the original, and it's twice the bits. Supposedly, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Well, this one does jack shit! Super Hydlide is just downright ugly, and it came out in 1990. Phantasy Star 2 came out on Genesis the same year and looks 10 times better. I mean, even Final Fantasy on the NES had better graphics than this hog vomit. So let's play the damn thing. The first thing I do is go out of the town and get my ass handed to me. Your character doesn't start with weapons, you have to buy them, so you walk all over this hodgepodge building that defies all architectural logic.
Unlike the previous Hydlide, you can purchase equipment and choose different armors. So I go to the weapons store and, hey, look at that! A dagger! I bought the dagger and put it in my thief's hand. And with that I can... Oh! Why am I moving so slow? Oh my god. I'm over encumbered. This is one of the many new systems in Super Hydlide. Everything has weight, and your character also has a handle stat. If the weapon's weight is higher than the handle stat, his attack is lowered and he moves really slow.
I understand this is commonplace in most RPGs now, but how does it make sense that a dagger weighs twice the amount of a goddamn club? Is the dagger made of solid lead?
The dagger is too much for my thief. I had to buy a knife instead. So this dagger is too much. But this? Perfect. You also can't sell stuff at the weapons store. You have to go to the general store to do that. So I painfully walk slowly all the way there, which according to the in-game clock, takes an hour to do so.
Where's the general store, you might ask? Why, in a generic unmarked building that looks like a regular house. Seriously, how was I supposed to know that? At least the weapons store looks like an important building. The general store is tucked away in the back like it doesn't matter. And again, what's up with the weight? Why does the Japanese helmet weigh as much as a club and dagger combined?
At least I can start playing now. So, killing monsters is... Oh! I have an attack button! Holy crap! I've never been so happy to have an attack button! This is awesome! Since I can't afford any armor, the first thing I do is kill monsters to get their gold. It isn't too bad to do so, and pressing an attack button does feel a lot better than... Wait, what? Why'd I die? Okay, starting over, I guess. Grinding monsters to get enough money isn't nearly as... Seriously! What the hell is killing me? This is another new mechanic for Super Hydlide. Hunger. If you don't eat at certain times of the day, your character gets hungry and their life begins depleting rapidly. This means having to buy rations at the store and carrying them around with you.
I actually timed it. It takes about 2 hours in-game before you die. So don't skip any meals in this world. The consequences could be deadly. Imagine living in this world. You're late for work, so you skip breakfast, and then 2 hours later, you're in the middle of a meeting, and you drop fucking dead in front of all your coworkers. Nothing left but a withered husk. Tragic.
All in all, I don't necessarily hate the weight and hunger systems. It's supposed to add realism, and it kind of makes me think of the Ultima games. They're not bad ideas, but the way they're done makes them more frustrating and inconvenient to the player instead of adding layers of depth. To give an example of inconvenience, even money weighs you down. Have too much coin in your pocket and you're sagging around like you've got elephantitis. So pretty much the first half hour of the game is spent killing things for money, so you can afford food, so you can be out killing things longer. Also, if you stay up too late past your bedtime, you become sleepy, and you begin dealing 0 damage. You rest and save the game by sleeping at an inn, which costs $1,000? I thought I was getting gold. Gold dollars. Alright, got it.
So now that I have all my crap, it's time to kill monsters. But not all the monsters. You gotta make sure you're only killing the evil monsters. According to the manual, killing good monsters will lower your morality and you won't become a true hero. So don't kill the slime, tree spirit, or phantom, but do kill the heavy slime, cannibal, and wraith. Makes sense, right? Except it's all in black and white and they all look the same. And for the love of God, don't kill Sarah, the kangaroo rabbit thing. So after killing a fuck ton of monsters, you can use your experience points at the temple to level up, or buy spells at the wizard's house.
And unless you pick a magic user class, the spells are worthless, except for 2 of them. Cure and Move, which teleports you back to other cities. So the first hour or 2 of this game is spent killing things to afford food, using food to be out killing things, and then going to sleep.
Also, for some reason, at 18 o'clock, everything turns yellow. I guess it's sunset, but it looks more like all the grass just dies and the world turns into a 16-bit piss puddle. I have no idea what to do. After running around for hours, and that's real-life hours, not in-game, I found these 2 locations. One is this place where all it gives you is a sound test. Why would I want to walk into a random abandoned town just to hear the music from this game? The other location is this maze. I walk around and just die over and over and over in the same place. I can't figure out where to go. The townspeople just give vague hints, but no actual direction. I can't even buy armor because it weighs too much. So after dying over and over, I've realized something. I'd rather set up a slip and slide over a ruptured septic tank than play any more of it. And that's something I've never even tried yet. Well, one good thing, you can turn off the Sega, take the game out, and place it somewhere dark and out of the way so you never have to play it again. In conclusion, the game is shit, literally. And yes, I mean literally. The game is actually shit. I will back up this claim by reading from a book by Harry G. Frankfurt, a professor of philosophy at Princeton University. The book is on bullshit. It does seem fitting to construe carelessly made shoddy goods as bullshit, but in what way? Is the resemblance that bullshit itself is invariably produced in a careless or self-indulgent manner that is never finely crafted? The word shit does suggest this. Excrement is not designed or crafted at all. It is merely emitted or dumped. So while the game did not actually come out of somebody's asshole, it sure came out in the same manner.
But it does have some good ideas. I can safely say that Super Hydlide is not the worst Hydlide game ever. It's not the worst Hydlide game ever because this one is!
This game is the first 3D polygon action RPG for any new generation system. It has a digitized main character for the ultimate in realism, computer graphics and 3D backgrounds created on high-tech workstations, plus a unique create-a-world function with over 40 billion possible combinations. That's a billion with a B, as in bullshit.
Wait a second. It's a remake! Yes, Virtual Hydlide is an actual remake of the original Hydlide. It even says so in the manual. That means this game is about collecting 3 fairies to kill Viralis.
Let's refresh. You take the crap factor of the original 8-bit Hydlide, doubled up to get 16-bit shit Super Hydlide, then add a whole new dimension of suckfuckery and get Virtual Hydlide. More like virtually unplayable.
The title screen alone upsets me. Do you see what's upsetting about it? It's that little thing right there. Atlas? Freaking Atlas published this game? They put out some of the best obscure games of all time, and in what mindset did they think Virtual Hydlide would be a good one to add to their library? It's like knowing a gorgeous woman since childhood and you've always had a crush on her and admired her, and one day she says, "By the way, I once kicked a dog so hard, his head spun around like a rotor blade."
Oh yeah, it's on the Saturn, so I have to set the date and time. I'll let it keep thinking it's 94, so it doesn't know its cruel fate of being discontinued.
The opening cutscene sets up the story of the game, and since it's on the Sega Saturn, it is legally obligated to have full motion video.
Man, oh man, look at those graphics. Did someone sneeze all over the camera lens?
A castle is attacked by a dark, mysterious figure. Recognize him? It's Viralis. You know, this guy, who is also this guy, and now he's here as this guy. Our FMV princess runs through the castle, and then Viralis and the princess explodes into fairies.
The beginning is basically the same as the original Hydlide, where the dragon guy turns the princess into 3 fairies, just with a lot higher production values. This is kind of like Hydlide's Special Edition. To start the game, you need to create a new world. This randomly generates the layout. You still have to do the same quests in the same order, but the locations change. So, who gives a shit? The fuck? Oh, God, this can't be real. I'm wiping the steam from my glasses. The steam that's rising from this pile of goat shit.
I don't even know where to start.
It looks like the deformed bastard child of CDI Zelda and Ocarina of Time Zelda.
Oh, good God! This is our hero? This plain-looking, rag-wearing, portly dude? He makes Jim the Knight look like a badass.
Jim the Knight. Well, Jim doesn't sound like a knight. Sounds like a nerd.
It's one thing to have FMV cutscenes, but to use a digitized actor as your hero, it just looks all kinds of awkward. None of the enemies are digitized, they're just sprites. Why is it for the main hero? Why not have consistency? Did I mention the frame rate yet? Because, oh god, the frame rate! I have a smoother experience using an old Viewmaster toy.
Why does he walk like that? What a sight to behold. Never in all my years have I gazed upon something as grotesquely hideous as virtual Hydlide. You have every shade of the vomit rainbow, and the barf rainbow too. And the first enemies I face are trees. I'm fighting the scenery!
Fuck you, nature.
Man, what a letdown. And the back of the box did such a good job hyping it up. If you can't believe the back of a box, who can you trust?
At least there are options in combat. You can weak swing, heavy swing, special swing, and block. You almost never need to block, and the special swing either does a slightly different swing or, for some swords, shoot projectiles. But with this perspective behind the character, I have no idea what I can hit. There's no perception of depth being conveyed. Times where I think I would hit just misses. Even the enemies have a hard time hitting me. Plus, there are tons of times where in the middle of combat, I'm getting hit without realizing it because there's no indication of taking damage. Well, I mean, sometimes the hero bends over like he got punched in the dick, but other times he's unfazed. And with the jerky, awkward movements, it's hard to hit anything and feel like you're in control. Thankfully, fighting monsters is worthless. See, remember how the other Hydlides padded itself by making you fight monsters to level up? Virtual Hydlide fixes that by having monsters give you nothing. You do not get experience points, ever. You only level up after completing certain objectives. So what's the purpose of having monsters in the overworld? There is none! They're only there to make you veer slightly off course while running around. On the overworld, you get a compass pointing you to your next destination automatically, even with an incomplete map. The entire game is avoiding monsters and running from location to location. So instead of exciting, engaging combat, you're an errand boy.
So the game is a big fetch quest. Just follow the blue mark on the compass, grab the item you need, and run to the next. And just like in the original, I have to grab the crucifix from the graveyard to kill the vampire.
While walking to the next place, I come across a scroll in the forest. Naturally, I use it. And then it tells me to pick something? Oh, okay. How about my magic sword? The checked item is a magic sword. Oh, okay. Thanks, game. Thanks for telling me what the item is after I use it. I get how this can make sense in your head, but that's just player hostile. Especially since there are other scrolls out there that'll ask you to select an item and then do something sucky. Like curse it. One simple change could make it so much better, instead of feeling like a jerk move. You know, I really should find some fairies before I keep going. You can find the first fairy in a randomly placed forest inside a tree. You just touched one of the trees, but if you touch the wrong one, bees! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Portly guy of the night. Killed by bees.
In the vampire's mansion, you have to touch a bunch of balls to open a door. The camera doesn't seem to know what to do with itself, and the narrow halls really showcase the terrible controls.
And fighting in here sucks! It's one thing to have bad frame rate, but throw in tight corridors blended perfectly with bad camera angles, and you've got a recipe for I don't want to play this game anymore! Every room in this place is filled with that old recliner that my dad refuses to throw out.
This place is a mess. At the end, you get to the first boss fight against the vampire. He even talks. I know what he said. All he said was bullshit. Literally. And yes, I mean literally. To quote Frankfurt again, just as hot air is speech that has been emptied of all informative content, so excrement is matter from which everything nutritive has been removed. Excrement may be regarded as the corpse of nourishment, what remains when the vital elements in food have been exhausted. In this respect, excrement is a representation of death. Okay, this book is losing me. Have you ever looked into a toilet and said, "Oh shit, I shat out a dead body"? Perhaps it is for making death so intimate that we find excrement so repulsive. Or is it perhaps because it stinks? Yeah, so just as a turd is virtually a corpse, Virtual Hydlide is virtually a game. But anyway, the vampire's a pushover, so hand him his ass. Hand it to him. Just make sure to equip the crucifix, then stand in front of him and swing.
Just keep swinging away. He wants to teleport away, but he can't! Dad!
Yeah, kill that motherfucker. You get Tool. Well, yeah, I get Tool. They're awesome. The band. As long as I don't have to play this cold and ugly game sober as you vicariously watch me as I hold a grudge with a hooker at the... never mind, back to the game. Killing the vampire gets you the super magic lamp. You need this to light up the next dungeon. In here, you get a dark sword, which shoots Hadoukens at enemies. It makes the game a lot better. Well, it makes it slightly more tolerable.
Its special attack shoots dark energy, and it hones in on targets. This makes fighting so much easier. I could never aim or hit before, but with this, the game does it for me. But there is a heavy cost to using the dark sword. With every shot, you lose points. It's like sacrificing a child with every swing. It's a good thing I don't care about kids. You can spend them at a store for new equipment. But here's the thing. Everything that's in here you find out on the field for free in plentiful quantities. So unless you screw something up, like say turn your plate armor into an herb, you'll never need to come here. There isn't a boss in the trial dungeon. You just go through to the end to find a shield and a special tool, which is the Spectacles of Truth, which naturally is needed to get into the next dungeon. It kind of sounds more and more like a Zelda game at this point, doesn't it? Oh yeah, remember how everyone accused the original Hydlide of just being a ripoff of the original Legend of Zelda? Well, this one has a Master Sword. So...
One thing that really pisses me off is having to run back through the dungeon after getting the item. It doesn't warp you to the beginning like in Zelda. You have to run all the way back the way you came. And the later dungeons are long as hell. Some even have more than one level. Now you get the Spectacles of Truth, which let you find secret entrances in the next area. They also turn everything red. It makes the game look like you're playing an interactive colonoscopy, which would probably be more fun.
The Ruins is just a dumb time-wasting maze to find more treasures at the end. Specifically a fire protection amulet, a dragon shield, and fairy armor. Oh boy. You know, I was just thinking to myself, I sure hope I can get more ridiculous looking armor than this, and gosh darn it, Virtual Hydlide delivers.
The fairy armor looks real stupid. Honestly, any armor you get looks stupid on this guy, but it's powerful, so whatever. Okay, now I'm back where I left off, and it's at this point the game gets tedious as all hell. Every dungeon from here on out wraps all over the place. This is the volcanic cave. It's filled with enemies and fireballs. Even stepping on the lava marks hurt you.
You know, maybe I've been too hard on the camera and the frame rate. I think I've gotten used to it. So really, once you've... Oh, okay, nope, never mind. This is bad. The inside of the volcano is made with lots of hills, which already has tight corridors, and you end up with this. The worst part is that there are small glowing spots on the floor that burn you to death. How am I supposed to not be on fire when I can't see where I'm going and trying to dodge at 4 frames per second? I found a diamond though, so that makes it all worth it.
Oh, great, now I'm cursed. Once you find a cursed item, you can't unequip it. This really sucks because you need the dragon shield to kill the mad dragon boss.
This boss takes 3 times as long as all of the others because he has 3 heads, and each head has the full health meter of a normal boss.
Oh man, I'm so dead. I don't want to have to run through this again. Do I have anything helpful? Scroll of herb? Here goes nothing. Alright, that actually worked. I turned the cursed shield into an herb. Now to kick the dragon's ass. Suck on that, you fuck. So more advice. On top of the scroll of detect, also get the scroll of herbs so you can turn everything into herbs. Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta run back through this hellhole. Oh, and great, I died. Wait, I'm back at the entrance? All this time, I've been running all the way back through the dungeon when I could just kill myself to teleport? Okay, well now I know. Luckily, I found that out before the next dungeon. It's not too crazy of a maze this time, but there's multiple levels to it. Each maze takes you to an elevator down.
By the way, I've died in this game as much as I did as the original Hydlide. I don't feel like I've shown that very well. So here's a montage of me dying a lot.
Another nifty trick I learned is on the map screen, you can turn your character. Just point them in the right direction and hold the run button. And most of the enemies stay out of your way, too. I'm killing this dungeon.
Hey, look what I found. You know what this means.
Oh shit, minecart! Whoa!
Whee! Minecart sequence! And somehow it works in both directions despite having a 15-foot jump.
What would a Hydlide remake be without ripping off something from Indiana Jones? All you need is the music from the first Hydlide, and it's perfect. The boss of this dungeon is the evil mage. He floats around twiddling his thumbs or something.
And the most evil thing about him is that he wastes your time. He can only be hit when he lands on the ground, otherwise he's invulnerable. So basically, they took the P-hats from Zelda and made it into a boss fight. And that is the third comparison I've made to The Legend of Zelda. Good! Quota met.
Oh, come on. Will you just land so I can shoot your ass? Come on! Get the fuck down. Get the fuck down. Get the fuck down! It feels like I'm talking to a cat. Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down! So after about a week and a half of him floating around, you beat him and get the next item. It's the Tears of the Earth. The world is crying this game is so bad. You use them at this sign, and you make the Fortress of fucking Solitude appear. I'm guessing that's where Superman 64 lives. This area looks confusing, but it's actually the easiest part to navigate. Just get to the center.
And the center brings you down into a, oh, what is this? Seriously? Platforming? In a Hydlide game of all things? How am I supposed to know which one to get on with minimal draw distance? How am I supposed to time these steps when I'm going at 4 frames per second? Why does the map look like a Pac-Man maze? By the way, there are 2 levels of doing this. The bottom of this castle is a fight against a huge electric eel.
That I can't hurt? What? I'm hitting him with everything I got! This is bullshit! See, I hit him with that too. So it turns out the only way to beat this boss and the final one is to find the Sword of Light. That's fine and all, but maybe I could have been told that? Nowhere in the game does it ever mention needing the sword, or really any item other than the ones you get from boss fights. In fact, the game holds your hand throughout, giving you a marker to the objective at all times.
Where is this sword? Why, randomly placed back inside the Pac-Man maze, of course.
So you have to use the scroll Detect and check every goddamn chest until you find it. How was I ever supposed to know this? I had to look it up because I couldn't believe the game would just fuck me over like that. But it did.
The light sword is a lot like the dark sword, only it shoots energy that don't cost points. And it murders eels.
So you get the light sword, you Hadouken the monster, the building falls down and the fairies save you. Wow, look at that. He looks like Poochie the rockin' dog going back to his home planet on The Simpsons.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
This is the final level, thank God.
Into the anus of Veralis' castle.
Now you're actually playing a colonoscopy. It starts with you fighting the vampire again, but this time he has bats that swarm all over you. He's still kinda easy, you just can't bum rush him like last time. After him, you fight the mage, but this time he flies in 2 directions. Whoa.
Well, at least he was smart enough to bring 2 skeletons to waste more of my time. I'm guessing the developers realized halfway through this that fighting bosses again is a stupid idea, because the mad dragon and the eel don't even show up. It goes straight to Veralis, who is much smaller looking than ever before. You know, compared to this, or the opening sequence. Veralis isn't too tough to beat. The whole fight is pretty much me going pew pew pew, and he's all roar, but then I go pew pew, and he dies. Veralis dissipates away, and our hero stands in the only position that he knows. The fairies come together, bringing back the princess, and she is beautiful. Oh lord, she needs a hair straightener. The portly hero finds a penny on the floor, and the castle disappears, revealing a gorgeous landscape. And the princess gets easily distracted by a bird flying by, but not before awkwardly looking into the camera.
Is she related to the princess in Sonic 06? Thankfully, Virtual Hydlide is over. The credits play, and you get the list of shame set to some shitty stock JPEGs of the countryside.
But hey, I got a top score, so that's worth it. Is there nothing more to this? The final part of the Hydlide trilogy, and there's no big send-off? Oh wait, here it comes!
You wasted precious hours of your life to give yourself eye strain and motion sickness, and all you get is a fucking congratulations screen.
My final rating for this game is a Hydlide out of 10. Seriously, what else can I compare it to? Virtual Hydlide takes its foundation on the already deeply flawed original Hydlide, and then further trivializes its gameplay by making combat worthless. The objectives are the same, and it wants its random worlds to add replayability when there's nothing worth going back for. It even copies the stand around for 10 minutes until you heal up mechanic. It's hard to say with the limitations of the Sega Saturn, but the game feels incomplete. Their ambitious ideas got in the way of creating something worthwhile. I guess they were just super proud of their world generator. It actually says here in the manual that there are over 40 billion possible world combinations, making it impossible to play this game twice. Well, they got that right.
Anyway, Virtual Hydlide is literally bullshit. Oh, that's right. Where did I throw that book? Well, whatever. I don't have an ending planned anyway, so